Shalom Israel. Welcome again to Watchmen of the Faith Ministries. My name is Kasada Bar. Okay, what I'm going to be doing today is 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter. I'm going to be reading verses 1 through, let's say, 1 through 6. Okay, and the reason why I'm dealing with 1 Timothy, okay, is because, again, there's a lot of misunderstanding about parables. And this is another scripture that the Christian church used to justify eating pork. Okay, like I talked about earlier, okay, in my previous show, is that we have to understand what is a parable, idiomatic expressions. These things helps us to understand the scriptures a whole lot better. Because what's happening now is that a lot of our people are reading the scripture only from the literal standpoint. In order to understand the descriptive writings of the scripture, this is going to take a lot of research and knowing a lot of our history. Now, like I brought out before, now a parable is a descriptive saying alluding to higher principles of understanding. I'm going to say it again. A parable is a descriptive saying alluding to higher principles of understanding. And then I talked about the 4 levels of understanding the scriptures. I talked about the Peshat level, the Remez level, the Drash level, and the Sod level. Now, I want to bring out some scriptures, some more scriptures showing the significance of understanding the scriptures from higher principles. I want to go to the book of Apocrypha. The book of Apocrypha, let's go to the 14th chapter. I'm going to read 4 through 6. Okay, and the reason why I'm bringing this out is because, like I made mention before, every parable and every miracle is alluding to the second coming of the Messiah. The Bible is talking about the Messiah from Genesis to Revelation. That must be understood. Now, it was also told to us that we should be careful not to cast our pearls amongst swines. And the reason why the scripture is saying that, because not everybody's going to be on the same level of understanding the scriptures. A lot of us are still, like I said earlier, or still on the literal meaning of the scriptures. So a lot of times when I speak, a lot of times I get comments and things like that I'm changing the scriptures. And I'm not changing the scriptures because it clearly tells us in Deuteronomy 4 and 2 that we're not supposed to add or take away from any of the commandments of the Father. So with that being said, all right, I want to go to 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, and I'm going to read 4 through 6. And I sent him, okay, and led my people out of Egypt. So we're talking about the Messiah, okay, sending Moses to lead the 12 tribes of Israel out of Egypt, out of bondage. And brought him up, which is Moshe, to the mountain of Sinai, where I held him, which is Moses, by me a long season, and told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets. That's very important, the secrets. So when we talk about the secrets, we're talking about the side level of understanding the scriptures. And like I said before, all of the scriptures is alluding to the Messiah. All of it. The Messiah can be found in the book of Genesis from the very beginning. The Messiah can be found in the breakdown of the word Bereshit, or as Bara Ashayaf. You can find the Messiah even in those words. And understanding the numeric value to a lot of these words in the Bible is also helping us to understand that everything is alluding to the Messiah. That's right. Numeric value is very important in helping us to understand the scriptures, because each of the Hebrew characters has a numeric value. Now, as I made mention, or as verse 5 again, and he told him, which is Moses, many wonderful or wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times and the end, and commanded him, saying, these words shall thou declare, and these shall thou hide. Why was this being said? Everything is given, things are given to people at its appointed time and season. I'm not saying that I have all of the answers, because I don't. I'm learning a lot from other brothers also out there in YouTube and doing a lot of research. So it's just that I don't want anybody to believe that I'm coming up with these things on my own. It takes a lot of prayer, fasting, and investigation, making sure that things still coincide with the scriptures. But even Moses was declared things, he was told that things that he should declare to the people and some things that he should hide. Because not everybody can take this information, use it properly. Because where I'm from, in learning these scriptures, a lot of people have taken these scriptures, twisted it around, taking other brothers' wives. They use these scriptures to take brothers' money, their personal belongings, like their houses, their cars, their whole life savings. So again, not everything is for everybody, because not everybody has your best interest at heart. Now, I want to also go to 2nd Ezra, the 14th chapter, the 44th verse. It says, in 40 days they wrote 204 books. And it came to pass when when the 40 days were fulfilled, that the highest spoke, saying, the first that thou hast written, publish openly, all right, that the worthy and unworthy may read it. But keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge, and I did so. So it's very important. Things are given to people in increments, all right? We have to go through the proper channels. You don't teach a first grader 12th grade information. Everybody has to start, okay, at that beginning stage, and we call that beginning stage the Peshat level. All right, just to make sure everything is, again, it's the Peshat level. And that Peshat level, again, is the beginning of understanding the scriptures. Let's go to Mark 4, because I don't want to spend too much time on this. Let's go to Mark, the 4th chapter. And I'm going to read the 11th verse. And he said unto them, which is the Messiah, unto you it is given to know the mystery. Again, the mystery is the side level, or understanding the scriptures from higher principles. Okay? The scriptures are not stagnant. There's always more juice and information that you can get from the scripture. And the Bible is the only book that you're able to get that from. You can read the Bible 100 times and you will still be able to get more and more and more information about it that will be very beneficial to the people while we do our ministry. Okay, so again, and he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of the Father, but unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables. And again, what is a parable? A parable is an descriptive saying alluding to higher principles of understanding. Now, with that being said, okay, I just want to go ahead and get into the main source of this thing here, because again, like I said, what a lot of Christians are doing, okay, they read from the literal standpoint of the Bible, and there's nothing wrong with the literal meaning of the scripture. It's just that there are higher levels of understanding the scripture, which brings the picture into more focus. And like I like to do, is like if you put a sample on a petri dish and you put it under a microscope, a lot of people aren't understanding now is that there are many lenses on a microscope. I can look at this sample that's on this petri dish through a 500 lens, an 800 lens, 1,000 lens, 1,000 lens. So the higher the magnitude, the clearer the picture. So hopefully, that example will be enough. Now, 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter, the 1st verse. It says, now the Spirit. Now the Spirit is the Ruach. Okay, I'm not changing anything. When I say the Spirit, I can also say the Messiah. So I can easily read the scripture this way, which helps me out. Now the Messiah speaketh expressly, even though it says the Spirit. Now the Messiah speaketh expressly, that in latter times some shall depart from the faith. What is the faith? The faith in understanding the scriptures. The faith is the Messiah. What's going to happen, as we see happening in these last days, a lot of people are falling from the faith or the understanding of the Messiah. So again, I'm going to read it again. Now the Messiah speaketh expressly, that in latter times some shall depart from the Messiah, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Now, doctrines of devils. What should be understood also now, that there's a word that's used a lot, and the word is nomis. The word nomis means law. So there's going to be a lot of people that's going to fall from the law, and the word law in Greek is nomis. And the word anomian means lawlessness, which means without Torah. Okay, I'm going to slow it down a little bit. I'm going to say it again. The word nomis means law in Greek. The word anomian means lawlessness or without Torah. So now what's going to happen now, as we see what's going on in verse 1 now, is that a lot of people are going to fall from the spirit of the Messiah, okay, and they're going to give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. This is the reason why I say we have to be very, very careful in what we entertain. That is very, very important. I'm going to be doing a show called Threshold Covenant, because we have to also be aware that things that we bring in our houses, okay, bring and sends off negative vibrations. All right. So, but let me go ahead and finish this up here, because again, this is a scripture that the Christians use to justify eating pork. Now, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy. Now, so what we're doing now is we're reading some of these doctrines of devils. They would be speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, forbidding to marry. That's very, very important. Now, we see what's going on here across the globe now, because America is setting the precedence here. Forbidding to marry. What does it mean when it says forbidding to marry? I can put this in today's terms, because what's happening now is that the normal way that we look at marriage according to the scripture, being that the world now is in lawlessness, or like I say, anomian, not following Torah, what's considered marriage now, according to the scripture, is not even considered marriage anymore. A marriage is supposed to be between a man and a woman. So this forbidding to marry, we're talking about here now forbidding to marry in the way that it was originally designed from the beginning. Now again, it can also mean other things too now, but I'm just giving a basic principle to equate to what's going on in the world today. Forbidding to marry, men with men, women with women. It's even gotten to the point here in America a couple of years ago where I saw a show where a woman was marrying a whale. A literal whale that swims in the ocean. She had made marriage vows to a whale. Our people are marrying animals, horses, donkeys, dogs, cats. These are the things that our people are involved in. And the scriptures told us in 1 Timothy, the 4th chapter, the 1st verse, that some people are going to fall from the faith, and they would be entertaining seducing spirits and following doctrines of devils. Because anything goes here. And what we have to do is to make sure that we stay diligent in following the laws, statutes, and commandments that was given to us at Mount Sinai. Okay, there will be these doctrines of devils, okay, will be forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats. Now, there's a lot going on where it talks about abstaining from meats. During the time of the Messiah's ministry in Israel or in Jerusalem, the religious leaders had a practice that was going on where what they were deeming kosher. The kosher animals had to be killed a certain way. They had to be prayed over a certain way. And there were certain instruments like knives and things like that, and certain washings that needed to be done in order for the meat to be deemed kosher. But that teaching is not in the scripture. Now, of course, we can't eat roadkill. It's something, because even if it's kosher, say for instance like deer, lamb, it's a kosher meat. But if we find it dead on the side of the road, even though it's a kosher animal, we can't eat it. So there were these religious leaders that was in Jerusalem were telling people that they should abstain from meats because it wasn't killed or prepared the way that these religious leaders, these Pharisees and scribes, were ordaining, because the people were not washing and killing the meats that way.